In the last section, we added some styling to our card component, so I think it's probably all ready to go from the visual side. But now we need to be able to use it in somehow, right? We got to be able to use the card component we just made. So really quick, I want to pop open a diagram that we were looking at a little bit ago. In the JSX on the right-hand side, we had said that the card was going to be kind of like the overall rectangle for this thing. And in the JSX, you may have noticed that I put some other components within the card tag. Now we've already seen instances where we passed one component to another within inside of some tag, but that was always when we used it with a view tag. So if I go back to my top level app component, you'll see that I placed the view tag and I gave the view tag the header and the album list. But right now we only know how to pass kind of data down into a component as a distinct prop. So we need to figure out some other different fashion to pass components around, so that one component can render another, much in the same way that the view tag renders the header and the album list. So it's kind of hard to give you a really nice lead-in into exactly how this works, so we're going to kind of just dive right in and I'm going to show you exactly how to do this. First, I'm going to find the component that I want to wrap with the card component, and so that's going to be our album detail. So inside the album detail, I'm going to import card from card. Now here's how it's going to work. I'm just going to replace the existing view tags that I have in here with the card component. So now I've got card and it's being passed the text. I'm not using the view tag anymore from React Native, and so I'll remove that import off the top. Okay, so this looks like what we want, right? We've got our component card and we are passing it the text tag, but we need to now manually tell the card component, hey, if you get past any components, if you get past a text or a card section or another view or whatever it might be, you need to be responsible for rendering this at some point in time. So we have to instruct card on how to render any children that it gets passed directly. So here's how we do that. I'm going to flip back over to our card component. Here we go. And then we'll add in our reference to props as the argument. Now here's the magic. Anytime that we pass a component that we write another component, that component will show up on the props object as props.children. So if we just add a reference inside of our JSX to props.children, it will render any components that we pass to this card one. So now we can kind of imagine that by adding what we just added, the reference to props.children, we kind of took this text tag right here that we're passing to card inside of album detail, and we're kind of just saying, you know what, just take that whole thing and just stick it right in here. Just stick it in between the two view tags. That's exactly what's going on by just adding this reference to props.children. Okay, so I think that we're now in a good spot to give this a good test inside the simulator. Let's pop open the simulator. We'll do our refresh. We're going to do a little bit of a reload. And there we go. All right. So we've got what looks like, all right, it's not super pretty just yet, but we definitely have the card component in there. We've got a nice outline on the top and a shadow on the bottom, and it appears that there is some margin on the left and right hand side. So you see that's the 5 pixels that we add on either side. And then in between each card is the 10 of spacing. So the cards do not exactly butt up against each other. There's some kind of space there. You'll also notice we reclaimed the space at the top for the shadow on the header. That was actually getting obstructed before with what we had previously. Okay, so this is looking pretty good. Our card component is now in use. Let's continue in the next section.